It's Monday, 8 o'clock, and we are live with Late Smoke. Today is episode 8, and I'm just looking my camera. Everything looking good. I hope the mic is loud and clear. Not much of, I mean, you're gonna hear some sound in the background. That's my purification because it's quite cold outside and I don't want to open too much windows and doors. Um, my voice is a little bit different. This is just purely because I caught something, I don't know, some flu or something. Uh, I'm feeling better, but my nose is blocked and my voice is a little bit sketchy. But yeah, everything else is fine. Um, let's see. Hopefully, there will be some people joining. I've got a few very interesting topics to talk about today, and the news are quite interesting. Um, but yeah, what I'm smoking. A little bit unusual for me. Today I'm smoking Diplomaticus number one, which is a Cuban cigar. Uh, Phenomenal size. Unfortunately, Cuba do not produce that many of this size anymore. This is Lonsdale, or his most popular name in Cuba is Cervantes. 6.5, 42. Super elegant cigar. I think the only existing one in the current production of Cuba, this is Monte Cristo number one, which is essentially the same cigar, made in the same factory. Okay, this is a little bit older. This is made in 2001. Um, Smoking so nice. I know there's some skeptical people says year 2001, 2002 are probably not the best for Cuban cigars, but this one a little bit tight, but I don't mind that. Um, Someone's flying. Good time, Slim. Yeah, no problem, mate. Schiphol, it's a big airport. So yeah, Diplomatic was one of the not that many popular brands, and yeah, I mean, hey Chris, I know, I don't smoke a lot of Cubans. I just don't like the fact they're so expensive, and you know my opinion of some crazy expensive cigars, and especially after the even the recent price increase, literally this week and last week. Now some of the Cubans increased with like 5-6 pounds, and I don't know. It's getting scary. I was fortunate enough to manage to get some of those back in the time, so I'm smoking my stash. But yeah, Cuban cigar tonight for a little bit of change, um, and those are good. I think I have a few more left, so I will enjoy them in the next few years. So what's everyone smoking? I've seen like a bunch of people. Hey Craig, hey Peter. What's everyone smoking? Drinking. I'm on a tea. To be honest, it's some Chinese tea variation of a oolong with a very weird name. So I'm not, don't ask me to pronounce it. I just bunch of words which doesn't mean anything for me. But yeah, tea for me and a nice Cuban cigar. And I've seen people already gather, so I think it's time to crack on a little bit with the news. And as I promised, there's a few very interesting news. Yeah, we're gonna start with a few releases, which I think worth mentioning. Uh, if it's something different or maybe something to rant over, I'm gonna mention it. So the first one is Crown Heads released Moose Kick, which is Canada exclusive, and I'm a fan of Crown Heads. And I wouldn't. I mean, You know that I don't talk often about um, the releases they do. They do a lot of different releases. Crown Heads is one of the very few brands I think no one releasing more different limited releases from John Uber. I think Crown Heads and Dumbarton are the two brands which are absolutely crazy on the limited edition, exclusive stuff, shop exclusives, and all kind of small batch. But Crown Heads are that worth mentioning because this is a Canada exclusive. Not a lot of New World brands actually do other countries exclusive except US, or shops exclusive only for the US majority. Maybe if the brand is with the European owners, they might do something, Germany exclusive, etc., etc. But this one is made for the Canadian retailers. Really nice band. I don't know if you wanna Google that one. Um, the band is really cool. I like it. It looked like old post stamp with the moose on it. It says 5 by 50. Usually in the corner where you have like 50 cents, $1, etc. This is called says 5 by 50. Limited edition on the bottom, and of course traditional for Crown Heads limited edition second bands with the year 2024. I think those are so close to the Cuban ones. Maybe they look even better than the Cubans. I actually thinking to compare some of those to the Cubans to see what are the difference there, because those are very all the Crown Heads limited editions they looks like Cubans. But yeah, the cigar is Nicaraguan. I'm not going to talk that much about the cigar. The fact was just interesting that um, a brand releasing an exclusive cigar for the different market than US, and that's the Canadian market. Let's see. There's a few bunch of comments in there. Yes. Yeah, $3-4 pounds on top on the cigars. I mean, it's 10%. And there was the cigars which cost like 60, 70 pounds. Some Cubans, those go like 6, 7 pounds. So yeah, roughly 10%. Not on everything. So far, only the Cubans go up. Maybe in the next few days, everything else. Even some of the Cubans actually didn't go that much. Some of the Cubans go only with 50p to a pound, which is less than 10%. But yeah, everything will go there. So, hey, Florida, Jamaica. Okay, that's interesting to know what you're thinking. Dumbarton, I always oversighted as a UK smoker, but I've seen the Sobremesa appear more and more much loved. Dumbarton is a brand which I'm very happy to be in UK because Steve Saka, up to the, I don't know, 2 years ago, he was swear by that he don't want to go in the UK market. He was saying, the whole Europe made like some of the smallest states in the States. Why would they bother go to 10 countries, 12 countries, all different legislation, regulations, etc. And then, cost me all kind of random money, different expenses instead of selling my product to Delaware or some random state, which is New Hampshire or whatever. And he says usually his production is waiting list quite long period waiting list, like a year or maybe more than a year. But 2 years ago, I think my cigar needed lighting. 2 years ago, Scott Vines managed to pursue him to launch in UK. In UK, we have only a few lines. We have Sin Compromiso, we have Sobremesa, and we have Muestra de Saca, some of the lines, which is cool. I like all of them. Probably Muestra de Saca will be my go-to line. Sobremesa Brunei is an interesting one, a little bit sweet. And Sin Compromiso is one of the darkest and nice looking cigars on the market. But yeah, they're in UK, and the good thing is, if we touch on a little bit on the Dumbarton, compared to the US prices, is actually not that bad. I know when we say, 25, 27 pounds for a cigar, I think the most of the buttons are between 25 and 27 up to 30. Uh, the same cigars in the US cost like 17, 18, $20, which is not like $5 cigar to be sold for 30 pounds, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'll leave the Barton aside. It's not the topic today. Crown Head's a very good Serie E. Yeah, that's a very good smoke. Wow, we knew it's coming. Kibbles have cost some, sure, even in GQ, Davidoff, fine worth talking about. Other seems you have Davidoff tax to sort in UK. I don't. I don't want to start slugging and talking on Davidoff again, because last show we talked a little bit on Davidoff, and I tell you my view and my opinion on there. Every brand is free to do what they want with the prices, and I think if people stop buying certain brands or certain cigars, they will probably think next time when they release in so expensive cigars. So I would say if people buying the cigars, maybe the brands will keep pushing the limit. If they buy $50, £50 cigar, next release will be 55. People buying it 60, 65, 70, until you find the limit where people do not actually buy. Maybe you stop there. Who knows? Thanks, Adnan. Yeah, I mean, I try to explain, the price difference. For me, if you want to buy cigars from abroad, worth buying cigars from abroad. I mean, not worth buying, but if you buy and declare cigars from abroad, buy stuff which you cannot find in UK and expensive cigars in abroad. If you buy cheap cigars in abroad, it doesn't make sense for me. So you want to buy $5 cigar, you bring the cigar. I mean, all the way around. If you buying cheap cigars from abroad, yes, that's what you need to do. But if you're buying cigars which in US are like $20, and you can find it here for £25, it doesn't worth the risk. So what essentially worth buying? Find $5 cigars, which in UK will be £25. Yeah, those you can smuggle, you can bring registered, whatever you tell your friends when they fly in. I don't care. Right? Yeah, absolutely. There's a market for everyone, of course. I'm moving on the next news. That's another release, and this one is one of my favorite expensive releases. And this is Merafil announced another release, which is called Creation Liberté, and this is basically coffins, two cigars coffins, with all their weird blends and names, 6 by 50 total sizes. And now the interesting part, the price for the coffin will be $240 or €240, depending where you're buying it. So you have essentially cigars which I think usually cost less than that, significantly less than that. But just because they're in a specific package in a coffin, and they have a picture, a lithography or something like that. And obviously they say the funds from the cigar will be supporting some platforms, like Cigar Rights of America, etc. Which is probably the good thing. I mean, consider the price tag, and I'm sure some people will buy these cigars when they have the similar idea with the Cigar Rights of America coffin. There's a bunch of brands which are involved in that initiative: Tatuaje, Oliva, Alec Bradley, etc., etc. I'm not going to name all of them, but every year those people release a new cigar or change the size of some of the cigars, add it into the samples. There's a few different samples. There's a big sample with 10, 12 cigars. There's a coffins with Fuente. I think Jason Newman also have involvement in that one. Now Merafo doing the same thing. I hope the the funds and the money from those are actually going to the right people. It's not just marketing. Again, I don't know. I can't know. I would trust what the people says, what the manufacturer says, but yeah, seems a little bit too expensive. I think the Fuente one is, I don't know, $60 or 80. I haven't checked recently. There's a Fuente and usually crown, diamond crown inside. Um, they're not that expensive, but Merafo is more premium brand, so who knows? The third new release, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that one because that's an interesting one. So there's a company called Cigar Ambassador. I don't know if any of you know Cigar Ambassador. Yep. So Cigar Ambassador, it's a it's a magazine. They're a tobacco distribution company. They own factories in Dominican Republic, and now they're releasing their first lines of cigars. Um, some people will say, "Yeah, oh, what is it? Just another manufacturer, another farmer?" Yes, but the owners of this factory and this company are actually two Chinese people. So it was a magazine created 15, 20 years ago. Also, they become the largest seller of raw tobacco on the Asian market. They have apparently a couple lounges in China, in Beijing and Shanghai. Well, I'm not sure about the Beijing one because I've been in Beijing and I didn't see any lounge which have anything. So who knows about that? But the company says they now are launching their first cigars and made in made in Dominican Republic using different tobacco, Ecuadorian, Nicaraguan, Dominican, etc. The sizes are very interesting as well. They launching Robusto, but the Robusto size is 4 and 7 850, which is a Cuban Robusto, not a non-Cuban. I don't know if actually anyone in Dominican Republic using this size, so it's a quite unique size. Also, they're launching Lancero, of course, 6 and 9 tenth of 38, so less than 7 inch. So that's a very weird looking Lancero because usually Cubans Lancero 7.5. So those people decide to go slightly shorter, but still using the 38 ring gauge. They're also releasing Salomon, 7.25 57. This is a very Cuban Salomon. I mean, Partega Salomon, Cuaba Salomon. Those are literally same size cigars. Um, with the I saw the pictures. So the Salomon is a little bit different with that they have the curly head. So they have like a pineapple head on the top. I don't know how was the right name on this one, to be honest. Not a lot of brands using that. Basically, did not finish the kappa. They don't have anything on top. It's just open, and it's like a curls of leaves. Obviously, you cut that one. Look nice presentation. So it's not the this double figurado, the Cuban double figurado Salomon, which is like very wide, literally about an inch after the foot, and then go slimmer. This is more of a equal size figurado without wider part, widest parts, which are very different. Um, but yeah, 57 inch, chunky in the bottom. On the top, I would say probably about 48, 50. And they're also launching A size. A size 9.25 48. So 4 different sizes. I would say 3 of them are very Cuban. The fourth one is not, the Lancero is not very Cuban, but they want to launch Lancero. Not a lot of people, when they release cigars, they're launching that kind of cigars. I think this is purely because they're Chinese people and the market is different there. Um, so they don't launch Toro and Gordo which is the most popular sizes probably in the US, Toro and Gordo. But we'll see. Price wise, they are from $14-15 for the smaller Robusto, going to about 28 for the size A, which is, I would say, slightly on the expensive side, especially for a brand new brand, which no one know what it's about. How's the quality? How's the cigar smoked? Anything, anything more specific? So I would say a little bit risky, but if you're launching those kind of sizes, I mean, you already take the risk. You're not launching the most popular size, okay, Robusto, and still the Robusto is shorter. So if people see the trend with the Robustos now, lots of manufacturers, especially non-Cuban, they do 5.5, 5.25, at least 5 inch by 50, 52, even 54. 5 by 54 is quite popular for Robusto, especially box press. But no, those guys, 4 and 7, 850. So that will look small when you put it next to the shelves on the cigar shops. This will look smaller, but we'll see. So, someone talk about have you ever tried Trident cigars? UK brand support UK veterans. Yes, I've tried Trident. I think it was when they launched about 3 years ago, something like that. I did a Zoom call when they were there. They were present. We all smoked the Trident. I think it was the smallest size. I'm not sure what was the name, to be honest. For me, it was a really one-dimensional cigar. Wasn't overly impressed. I even knew where they made them. Most of the cigars I smoked from this factory, they were actually pretty much the same. I haven't smoked anything since. I mean, I don't know that people who are behind the brand very well. They do something for the military people. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do that kind of stuff, if you want to promote your cigars that way, yep. Hey, Richard, what I'm smoking? Smoking Diplomatico #1, Cuban. So yeah, for me, they're not brand which I would probably go and pursue and buying. But again, I smoked some of the first releases. Maybe they wasn't that good. Maybe now I'm pretty sure they changed the factory. Maybe the new factory is significantly better. They actually do interesting cigars. As a cheap smoke, might be alternative. I know someone also mentioned they do Panatellas, a very small tin with cigars. So that might be an option if you want just a quick smokes. But yeah, that's my feedback there. Right, moving on to the next news, next piece of news, and this is actually from a couple of days ago. There was a big announcement that Casa Torrent will appoint Riccardo Caroni as the head of business development. So Ricardo is a person I know very well. We did lots of events, lots of interesting collaborations. For the people who maybe doesn't know Ricardo, he used to be the deputy ambassador for Nicaragua in UK for 5-6 years. I don't know what's the period, but I think 5 years is the period where the ambassadors need to do their service. And then he left the embassy, joined the biggest UK importer of non-Cuban cigars, Tor Imports. He was the COO of Tor for I think about 6 or 8 months. And after that, he joined the biggest Spanish importer for non-Cuban cigars, Jacinta. Was a chief CEO or CTO, I'm not sure, one of those positions. Short stand as well, 6-7 months. And after that, he left and he launched his cigar academy, which was actually was a project uh, I knew about even before Ricardo was part of the cigar industry. Where he was ambassador, he was planning to do something like that. So yeah, I mean, it took him like few years, but and now with Casa Torrent, I know Casa Torrent used to have someone in similar position for out of US market. That was Dave, Spanish guy, who now he have his own company of consulting different brands, and I don't think he will work that much with Casa Torrent anymore. In this position, Ricardo now took over the head of business development. I think he will concentrate predominantly out of the US. So European market, Asian market, um, African market, maybe. Any new broadleaf? Uh, Good question, Nader. I haven't smoked a lot of new cigars. I just decide to do. I mean, not strike against the new cigars, but I haven't bought new cigars in probably 6 to 7 months. I just can't stand that lots of brands, even some of my favorite ones, they releasing new lines every month. And even if you want to follow, you hype in a brands. If you want to follow a couple brands, this is a hundreds of pounds to buy some of their cigars. And obviously, we don't have in UK most of those lines they don't come in, and that means I need to order to someone who's traveling to bring me some, and that's make it so much complicated. Um, and buying from abroad, registered to the UK customs, the cigars become slightly expensive. So I literally stop chasing unicorns anymore. If I have the opportunity when I travel, see some stuff, buy some stuff, but I don't hype it anymore. Any all those new stuff. It's just I can't do it honestly. And if you wanna look in specific broadleaves, I mean, lots of people using broadleaf, tatuaje, crown heads. Um, those people predominantly use a lot of broadleaf. Nick Middle Foundation, broadleaf. Just smoke some of those cigars. Drew Estate, broadleaf as well. If you smoke some of those brands, I think you're not gonna go wrong. What extractor I'm using? It's Daikin, Japanese air conditioned brand who do purification and extractors. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. I mean, you can see it's not very cloudy. It's completely closed. I haven't opened any window or anything. It's just the extractor. This is very good cigar. So, and the last piece of news I want to talk about before we jump to the topic of the day, um, that is STG released their report for Q3. I always like to talk about STG's reports because they are probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest corporation. Usually they're very objective on what's happening on the market. Again, it can be different, but because they have so many markets covered, and you can see so many stuff there. But what's interesting on the STG report? So they increased revenue, but basically the increased revenue coming out mostly from other products, but not premium cigars. So their premium cigars actually decreasing the sales. They didn't mention exactly how much percentage, but the fact is basically happening was the predictions. When the boom was 2 years ago, everything will start declining slowly. And yeah, I'm pretty sure even with the price increase now in UK, all the crazy, stupid laws they want to do, not only in UK, in Europe, with the plain packaging and ban of smoking, all kind of weird places. I'm not gonna go deep again there. Um, that only will decrease the premium cigar departments. So that was again. If someone interested to know the numbers on the specific figures of the um, report, I can send you some information. I just want to mention that basically that few stuff they increased slightly, so about 7% increase the revenue, but the sales are lower. That means the prices are higher. Maybe that's why the revenue is higher. So before we go talk about the retrohaling, I've seen S mentioned something that wrapper counts average 3% of the smoke. I will disagree with that. So that's one of the questions where there's no right or wrong answer. If you ask 5 cigar producers, all of them will give you 5 different answers. In my opinion, the wrapper will give you 20 to 40, maybe 50% of the taste. But that's of course depend to the wrapper. I completely disagree if someone say all the cigars in the world the wrapper give you like 3, 5, 12%. No, every cigar will be different. Every wrapper should be different. Some wrappers are way more nuanced, way more tasty, way more flavorful than others. I'll give you an example. With the Cuban cigars, I'm smoking a Cuban cigar. I think the wrapper doesn't bring you a lot here. So the complexity here in the cigars is mostly of the filler, the good tobacco, but not much of the wrapper. If you smoke Ecuadorian Connecticut or some Connecticut shade grown, it's not really very tasty wrapper. Cigar is usually light. You won't find a lot of sweetness. You won't find a lot of dark fruits or anything like that. Um, but if you take, for example, uh, Connecticut broadleaf, Nicaraguan Jalapa Maduro, or San Andres, Mexican San Andres, this is a very tasty wrapper. A lot of sweetness, spiciness, pepper, etc. I'm just looking the comments, and I knew someone will mention the Lancero wrapper. I was just waiting. That's another thing. I know how everyone says tiller gauges, wrapper. Even I said it back in the time. The wrapper will give you more than actually the filler. Well, I don't think the maths is right. So the wrapper on the thinner gauges, it's smaller proportion than in the bigger gauges. So on the thinner gauges, you have a very 38 ring gauge. The wrapper is very small piece. Say if you get like 7 by 70, the wrapper will be massive chunky piece. Okay, inside you have 10 leaves of tobacco. On the Lancero you might have 5, but you still have 5. You don't have only 1 leaf of inside. No, the leaves are smaller proportions. You still have Seco Viso Ligero, maybe 3 leaves, maybe just the stripes, but you still have them there. And when you blend those, I mean, the binder, if you says the wrapper give you most, well, the binder is the same amount. So binder and wrapper is, and also lots of cigars have 2 binders. I mean, all the Cuban cigars are 2 binders. all my father's cigars to binders. So why then the wrapper, if it's a Lancero, oh, the wrapper should be more. But well, I don't think so. It's the same proportion, and the wrapper will give you lots of flavors, lots of tastes, but I don't think will be more than 20, 30 to 50% maximum. Even 50 will be very unusual. Maybe uh, lots of light type of tobacco inside and some heavy, hefty Maduro outside. Then I don't know what the combustion will be because uh, leaf wise, I have a bunch of leaves actually behind me. I was experimenting a little bit last week. The Ligero will give you lots of flavors. So Ligero, okay, let's. This is a little bit side of the topics we have today. You have all the primings. You have the Ligero, Visu, Seco, Ligero, Seco, Visu, Volado, even if you count Cuba. The Ligero, the top and the highest priming. The leaves are thicker, sharper, sweeter, more flavors, more body, more power. Everything is more. Then you go to the next priming, Seco. Usually that will give you lots of flavors. Strength almost none, but lots of flavors. And then you move into the Viso, even Volado. I mean, depending which country you are, it's a little bit different naming. That's mostly combustion. So those leaves are very light color, nothing darker there. Um, leaves are, people use those leaves majority for combustion. Yeah, they will give flavor. There's obviously every leaf have a flavor or taste, but the flavor on the bottom one is not the same as the one on the top, because all the minerals and the nice tasty stuff, they usually go on the top of the plant. You need to feed the top of the plant, so not much stuff left on the bottom parts, on the bottom part primaries. So yeah, I mean, even if you think that a little bit logically, I don't think only 3% is the wrapper. And if I've tried this one. Get a cigar, which you know very well. I mean, this is again will cost you a cigar, but if you want to dig into the technical stuff, cut the cigar wide open, remove the wrapper, remove the binder, remove the filler, light the filler, keep it all together, light it. You can still smoke. Light the binder and light the wrapper, and see which one will give you flavor. Um, I think. Well, no, there you're right. Most of the Cubans have the similar DNA because of the wrapper. Well, they use two types of tobacco, grown in different, pretty much one region. Okay, different farms, different fields. So it's a little bit different, but the idea with the Cubans, yeah, the DNA is the same. They all have that similarity in their taste and profile. Obviously, a little bit different primings, give you different strain, blends are different. It's even if you take two plants which are grown each next to each other, you roll from this plant only the top leaves, from the other one only the bottom. They'll taste completely different. As you mentioned in that, you need to uh, you made a comparison. I cannot pronounce that one. Scotch from Scotland, or whiskey from Ireland, source contribute dramatically. I mean, even with the Scotch and the whiskey, I can name you lots of good whiskey which is not Scotch. It's a Scotch style, but it's not made in Scotland. Same with the cigars. Nicaragua make phenomenal cigars. Dominican Republic make phenomenal cigars. Cuba make phenomenal cigars. Honduras, Mexico, all those countries can make really good cigars. I think for me, it's mostly who made the cigars, how the cigars are made. I'm smoking a Cuban cigar tonight. It's a really good cigar. I know it's made like 20 years ago, but that thing with the Cuban, I think, separating most of the other cigars is the aging. Cuba, I'm talking about aging 20 years, not like 2 years or 7 months or whatever. No, I'm talking 10 plus 15, 20 years. Most of the other cigars I smoke, which age for 10 plus years, they actually not that good. Um, Cubans, they can be fantastic. Literally 10 years after the release, they can be so good and so tasty. So this is the uh, one of the capacities the Cuban cigar have, the non-Cubans don't have. And I don't know what's the reason behind it. I mean, some people would say fermentation, it's not fully fermented, you leave them to ferment. Yeah, but there's no, the cigars will not fully ferment when they're rolled in the boxes. You cannot ferment it fully. Maybe some secondary fermentation, just a little bit, yes, but you're missing the whole idea with the fermentation. Get rid of that ammonia, etc., and you get rid with the naturally heat and water. So in the boxes, you don't add water, you don't add heat. So how you conduct fermentation then? No answer. So let's talk about. You can guys keep commenting. I love that. I love when you jump in with some interesting comments. I can contribute more if I know. Um, let's talk about retrohale. What is a retrohale? Let me light my cigar. Let's see if I can. I will manage to show you eventually some retrohale because my nose is blocked. I don't know if I'm gonna manage to go through the nose, but I'll try. So, retrohale, it's a process where you basically keep the smoke in your mouth, and before you blow out, you move it to the top part of your nose, and you blow out through your nose. Obviously, you close your mouth and just blow through your nose. Um, why we do that? Okay, I will manage to do some retrohale. I just did. Um, why we do retrohale? Because simple is that. On retrohale, we can detect more flavors than actually what we have in our mouth. The mouth is made. The mouth as an organ is. Uh, you taste the food, the drinks, all kind of um, stuff you add. You eat, you consume, but you need to taste because you use your mouth. You need to touch your mouth. You can still pick some flavors, but most of those flavors you pick with your nose. Even if you put the air through your mouth, you still use your nose. Lots of people says, okay, well, if you block your nose, you might not be able to pick most of the flavors. And my nose is blocked now. I still can pick some stuff. It's not completely blocked, obviously. I still breathe, but if you do that, so you get your cigar. It's not easy to pick some flavors like that because you need your nose. In your mouth you have about 20, 30 taste buds all over your mouth, your tongue, and etc. And you need the food or the liquid to touch those taste buds. In your nose, you have thousands, and you don't eat with your nose. So your nose is the taste buds. The way they work, it's way stronger than actually the ones in your mouth. So when you retrohale, you get all that. You get a little bit in your mouth, just the pieces in your mouth, and then when you blow it through your nose, all the nose buds literally pick everything. And this is like a palette. It's like nuances of all kind of stuff. So if you smoke at the moment, just try again. It's yeah, blow through your nose. It's not easy to do it. Once you manage to do that, if you try that more often and more often, I'm sure you will enjoy. Um, there's some negative parts as well, especially when you're smoking a quite strong cigar. Lots of pepper, lots of spiciness. Then your nose will pepper heavily, and the spiciness it will be so harsh in your nose that you'll be like, you start crying. You're gonna literally, your eyes will be full of water just because of that spiciness and pepper. So I would say if you enjoy doing retrohale all the time. I don't think your buds will get used to it. Maybe no. Maybe you train your palate that you will smell. You can detect aromas way easier. But if you don't enjoy that much retrohale, do it at least 1 or 2 times on every third of the cigar, just to see how the cigar develop. What's the difference in there and there? And I personally don't retrohale every puff. I try maybe every 10-15 minutes to do a retrohale, a little bit at least, just to give you an extra nuance in the nose. Um, but I know people who literally retrohale every single puff. If you like to do it, yeah, why not? Okay, I don't get that. Nader says I felt sorry for the smokers. Don't inhale. Well, I don't inhale. I don't want to inhale. I I accidentally inhale a few times and I don't enjoy it. I've never smoked cigarettes. I don't think inhaling you'll get extra flavors. Um, Maybe. I know there's another controversial here. Inhaling actually get more flavors. Um, I don't think so. Literally, a couple of days ago, I was smoking when I was in my worst block nose. Since I get this flu, and because my nose was blocked, and I was literally puffing, and I didn't couldn't blow out, and I literally inhale, and I start coughing like an old smoker, like oh, oh, oh. And everyone, I was out, I wasn't at home, and everyone started looking at me, oh, this guy's smoking a cigar, and it was just like coughing like an animal. I was like, I usually don't cough. It was by accident. I get all the smoke in my mouth, in my throat, and inhale it. Okay, now we're on the correct way. Nader says retrohale, not inhale. I'm agree with you. Um, I think I believe as well. People who doesn't retrohale, they missing a little bit. Again, I don't say you need to retrohale all the time, but just give it a go. Give it a go, and you can find new flavors. And when I was training, well, when I was start retrohaling, I don't know. I start not at the beginning when I start smoking cigars. I start probably a few years after that when I was actually try to understand the cigars and develop more and more my palate and get flavors. When you see the magazines, people posting aromas, flavors, I start to try to understand that. So I start retrohaling and I start picking up and detect the different flavors and aromas. And the best way is just associations. First thing coming in your mouth when in your mind when you retrohale, you detect aroma. Think it. What's that? First thing come in your mouth. Don't try to match the description you see in the magazine. If you smoke, let's say I smoke this cigar and someone says, "Oh, this should taste like vanilla." I would not try to match the vanilla. I would just see what I can pick. If some people, I would even say, don't read the magazines just for the flavors and try to match them. yeah, if you want to read reviews, magazines, websites, read it. See maybe the core idea of the flavors, what can be. So if you want to choose that cigar, but what I mean is, so when you read a review or watch a review or listen to a review, and you see uh, the flavors and the aroma, the whoever reviewing them, uh, variations, they vary around different, how to say that. So let's say someone reviewing cigar and start mentioning dark fruits, honey, chocolate, cocoa, raisins, um, all kind of stuff like that. That's most likely the cigar will be sweet. All those are sweeter, heavier, mouthy, meaty cigars, what I call it. You know, that stick in your mouth, coat your mouth with that meatiness. On the other side, if someone's smoking and keep mentioning grass, green grass, hay, maybe nuttiness, leather, that's more on the opposite side. That will be probably a lighter cigar with a lighter upper, all those characteristics, a Connecticut shade, and that kind of stuff. So if you just start thinking and separating those ideas, if you see a review where basically nothing makes sense, probably the review doesn't make any sense as well. I mean, when you see, oh, I have like cotton candy and parsley and chocolate and all completely opposite thing, which you wouldn't put together in a way of eating or smelling. That might the guy have a very big imagination, um, and maybe try to be a little bit different and talking about a lot of nonsense. Yeah, I mean, S S is mentioning quite right. I mean, if the cigar doesn't do much, retro hair might only will improve it. Um, so if you even if you smoke a boring cigar which you don't enjoy that much because it's nothing happened, flat. I like to call them flat. When you see a flat cigar, it's like first to the last puff, no difference. Do a retro hair once in a while. I'm sure you're gonna have some difference. So, how's everyone smokes? Do any of you smokes drinks? I think that was an interesting evening. Retro hair is not a massive topic. Again, if you have any questions on the retro hair, I'm more than happy to answer if I know them. It's an interesting, important part of the smoking, in my opinion. It's you need to try it. If someone haven't tried, not sure how to do it, no problem. Just send me a text or reach out to me. I'll try to explain you. Maybe uh, show you with some videos if you're not sure how to do it. I'm absolutely fine to. There's no embarrassment or anything like that. Just get rich to me, and you know where to find me, and I'll provide you information more if you wanna try to retro hair and you don't know how. I need to light my cigars. I keep talking, I can't enjoy my cigar, but yeah, I think it's time to end the show. I'll be with you guys next week, hopefully without that different voice and blocked nose. And I already have an idea what I'm going to talk to next week. I'll tell you in probably Saturday or Sunday when I'm going to add my thumbnail. In the meantime, commenting, liking, um, tell me what you're thinking. And yeah, smoke your cigars because tomorrow is never given. I'll keep repeating that every time. You know me. And yeah, absolutely. I'll enjoy my last third. I mean, it's a halfway, and that's mean another. I'm going to be here for another hour. But yeah, I'll enjoy it, and I'll finish my tea. And yeah, smoke your cigars, guys. Tomorrow's never given, and I will see you next Monday, same time, 8 p.m., same channel, The Late Smoke. So stay smoky, guys, and see you next week.